Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's breakdown. I'm your host, C2, and with me is professional Rocket League coach, Coach Scully. As you know, he's been a coach for 2 years, an academy coach at Melon Patch Gaming, Vanta League, and the YMCA. He is also a RLCS caster. And today we will get to break down Atlantis versus RF White, which, as we know, is a Division 2 team, which varies from Champ 2 to about GC 1. Now, Scully, I'll let you take it from here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are here to talk about, again, some of the do's and don'ts of the sport. And let's break down just a little bit of why Atlantis won, why RF White lost, and what could be done a little bit better by each one of these teams. Looking at this today from the perspective of Atlantis, who took the victory. So we're going to have a little bit better idea of the things that they're doing that they can improve on and what ended up working. So come over here, alt tab to the right thing. And we're just going to kind of play this out. And remember, we're looking for patterns. And right off the bat, we are going to see a pattern right there. You can see Tooney Jr. in the bottom right corner, C2, and see how he goes up for a ball that is 100% his. Right?
That it
We
is.
play we play the game of who gets here first. Sure, Trash might get a touch, but there's only one touch that he can get. It's way too easy for Tooney Jr. to read this. If Trash guys to go for anything fancy, Tooney gets there all the day long. This is Tooney's ball. But he turns away almost immediately, causing him to turn away twice, at least once or twice more, before ultimately missing the ball. Guys, this is such a thing that Squishy Muffins started a while back, right? Whenever his content was the big rave and everything, he fake challenges everything. It's what he does. It's his playstyle. That's why he's third man in NRG, despite being one of the mechanical gurus of Rocket League. And at depending on what time era, he was arguably the best player in Rocket League and still can be put in that category. He's third man for NRG. Why would they put him in the back? Because the man fake challenges everything and he's got his own personal system designed down on when he's going to ego challenge and when he's going to back off. But he is one of the biggest back off players in the game. A lot of the teams now that are coming up that would have been plats during that time and are coming into champion now, champion GC, still very much have that culture about them where this fake challenge meta just continues to screw people up. They don't have the 20,000 hours in Rocket League to know how to do it to the same effectiveness. So it ends up doing just like Tony just did, where he faked almost twice and missed the eventual challenge that he actually went for the ball. This does happen very often, and I've already watched this. This is a pattern that we're going to see coming out of Atlantis. And we're going to see different areas where it does bite them in the butt and different areas where it does help them. And C2, remember, you can stop me at any time with questions, comments, concerns. I love this right here. What I don't like is the little double push forward. They're really close to each other, ends up being a double commit. But how they recover from this is beautiful. You can see Ultra Attic as he's coming out, he drops it mid to Tooney, who takes a shot, puts it on the only spot on the net where a defender could save it. Unfortunate accurate lack of accuracy right there. But it does work. Now we're seeing some good aggression, but a couple whiffs coming out of it. I'm enjoying this. You see, they have RF White very much backed down into their own zone. You can see everybody's turning away from the ball, trying to bog down into their net, and finally getting a booming clear out.
Yeah, it looks like once they have their rotations down, they can keep it pretty tight and are able to put quite a bit of pressure against them.
They are, and right here, Tony, you can see he didn't really he went at the net, but wasn't expecting Jesse's little pinch right there. Always trying to round out your approach into that net just a little bit. Let me get my pin out. So instead of just coming that straight line and then turn in, try to just bounce it out and dip into the net just a little bit. Round out your approach, make it to where your nose is most definitely going to be facing the ball. And remember, I've said it 1,000 times, Saving balls from inside of your goal line, slightly behind your goal line, is a lot easier because you can see how dangerously close Tony was to own goaling this had he not had he actually touched the ball like he was trying to do, he would have had a very strong chance at own goaling it. Instead, he does miss it, and it is safe. It is a lot harder to own goal when you are inside your own net. Attic, I love how he bounces away, right? Whenever you know that the ball is about to go to the other side of the field, just be there.
Yeah,
Very head.
it seemed like he anticipated it to him to at least touch it and knew that the ball was gonna continue on going to the other side and was able to read that perfectly.
Exactly. And a lot of times you'll get the feel that the ball is going to the other side and recognize that you have teammates behind you that can take it if it goes mid. So what if it drops shallow and you're not there? Predict the path and be ready for the play. A lot of more times than not, you're going to get a positive result. Tooney, you can see with his butt pointed towards the ball. That is a common thing that you see out of teams that fake challenge a lot and that are very passive on the attack is that they will tail light towards the ball very often. Headlights headlights are more effective than taillights, guys. Now, C2, we do talk about their passivity, but let's talk about their aggression. When they are up front on offense, they are supporting each other 150%. Jesse comes in and Attic right behind them immediately. They are supporting each other. They are right where they need to be to help each other. A little bit too close for comfort sometimes, but honestly, I cannot complain at all. I'm loving these guys on their offense.
Yeah, it seems like they're having pretty good communication for him to be confident enough to be that close, and that his third man is at least a midway back in case they bounce it out of there and take control again.
And that is one thing we're seeing. We're not often seeing a third man that's very overcommitted. Every now and then they push up a little bit close, but still are able to keep things going. Just like Jesse pushing in right there, Tony on the other side, very well on their back man positioning. It shows me a little bit of signs that they kind of like to play that 2-1 set style, two superstars in the front and a deep third man to get the big clears. You always got to be careful. Deep third man could go for those big clears a little bit early and get that ball beat on him. That was very close. That should have been scored. See, this is what we're seeing out of our opponents, RF White. Just the inability to finish and capitalize on golden opportunities. This is two opportunities now that has been laid at their feet or at their wheels, I should say, that they just haven't been able to capitalize on. Decision making again. Look at this. My retina's detaching. Very little boost, very little options. He gets it and continues to try to make the 2v1 happen. Guys, the team that can blindly make a pass to the middle of the field and expect a teammate to be there is a team that trusts the support of their teammates, right? My retina is detaching for one should have comms in his ear right now that from footless saying, I'm mid, I'm ready if you need me. That's obviously not happening because the obvious thing that should happen here is a quick pass mid to footless, who would have then his pick of the litter of where he wants to place that shot on net. Instead, a quick counterattack ensues. A little bit of decision making. Now, that's a tough decision to make, but still an extremely necessary one. Another thing that I'm seeing from the side of RF White is this grouping is happening way too often. Remember, we've all had, back in our plat days, Sunless Khan drawing out his sections of the field. It's a little bit old school, so it might not be as popular of a thing. He drew out his little tic-tac-toe board, and he said, you know, in your basic twos positionings, you should never have cars in the same box, and they should actually also be kind of caddy-cornered boxes. You shouldn't have cars right next to each other, on adjacent boxes. And to compound on that, you definitely shouldn't have in threes 3 cars in the exact same tic-tac-toe box. This is just an unacceptable positioning, and it will get taken advantage of multiple times if a team at this high level sees it. You can see a very scoreable net goes absolutely unchallenged.
It seems like on RF side, the communication might be a little lacking. One of the things we're trying to push on our Division Three team is not just to tell where you're at, but kind of where the opponents are also, like the distance from them. So that way, like those middle shots you can take, because you would have known, I'm behind you, he's coming up. If you're gonna take a shot, he's probably gonna try and 50 it.
And that's a really good point right there, C2, is not giving information just about yourself, but giving information about the opposite team or giving orders to your teammates. Honestly, for some reason, it is a lot easier to sit there and say, go, 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 rather than sit there and say, I don't have it. It's not mine, right? Because one of them, for one, it's more effective, right? To tell your teammate, go, 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 is a direct thing. It is a situational awareness. You know, off a go, 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 you know a few things. You know, your teammate doesn't have it. Your teammate believes you can win it, and it's going to be advantageous for you to go. And he needs you to actually make it happen. Now, let's break down this goal a little bit. Remember, all goals start 5 to 15 seconds in the past, was the original mistake. So you have a little bit of fake challenge by Attic, but it was actually done very well. Bump onto Jesse, and now Tooney coming up, and he backs off, and he comes up, and he backs off, and he comes up, and he backs off, and now he's not there at all. Sends a weak one over the side. Attic just following him, not prioritizing net, the hesitation of trying to do two things at the same time by both of these guys end up making each of them doing neither of what they wanted to do. Tooney wanting to make a challenge and shadow defend. He ends up not really doing either very successfully. Attic wanting to challenge the ball into the corner and guard the net. That is a big thing you can't do. You can't do both of those at the same time. Neither ends up happening. Goal going into the net. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, you can see Tony looks like his hesitation kind of made Guru hesitate, which just allowed Thrash to take advantage of the whole situation.
absolutely. And it's a common thread that I see out of these guys, especially when you have the fake challenges and the Toonie situation there. And here you have it again, very shallow net rotations. We're seeing them all over the place out of this team, right? Confusion box. Remember, this is where I've drawn out my confusion box 1,000 times. They're not necessarily doubling up in here, but one person on the wall and another person putting really shallow rotation right there. I mean, it's basically the same thing. It's not exactly the same, but the principle ends up translating as you just saw two quick succession goals. But yeah, and you're absolutely right on those Division Three teams trying to communicate outside of themselves. Look at that passivity in the net that almost got them scored on again. Trying to communicate outside of themselves. It's much more information that you're giving to your teammate. It's much more direct. There's an expectation. There's a better flow to things. What is your opponent's doing? What do you want me to do? Tell me
Yeah,
what to do and I'll do it.
yeah, I think it gives your teammates more confidence in themselves and in the play in general.
It does. Very much more confidence. Oh, and look here. We have a tight grouping yet again. A double push onto that front post with a person already on front post. Look at this. We've got Footless who's guarding front post. That early challenge, then Thrash and my Retinas detaching, each of them pushing towards that area. Nobody going back, nobody trying to make something happen. Footless missing his early challenge, just letting Guru walk that in. On RF right white so far, it's been the grouping for me. The grouping of the spacing between the players, it just has not been my cup of tea. Look at there. They're so close to each other they can't actually support one another. Footless, trying to, again, going for two things at the same time. He's trying to support his teammate on the pass and aggressively attack the ball at the same time. He does neither, one or the other, and call it. Why does this happen? A double push onto the side. Tooney just not able to make the early cut. That double push into the side. Spacing's a big thing. You can't be doing stuff like that.
And I mean, multiple of these goals have shown that it is probably better to swing out a little bit towards one of the backside of the net when you're coming in instead of just taking that direct line towards the middle because it looked like Guru was afraid he was about to own goal on themselves.
And 100%, you have to round out your approach. Rounding out your approach might take a little bit longer, but unless you're in an absolute desperation situation, you will always get a better touch. You will get a better 50-50. Everything that you will do will be stronger because of a more rounded approach. And this double push into the corner that we're seeing again out of Atlantis, it just needs to stop. That double push into the corner, one person go to the net, one person go to the corner. It's basic transitional defense, and it just, ooh, this is something to talk about, right? Jesse here is confused. Jesse pushes up a little bit, stops, and then comes back. Why? Because he thought he had a roll. He thought Tooney was about to take this, but then Thrash starts bringing it back. Tooney's stuck trying to make the initial block. Jesse, who was going to support him up the field, now has to abandon that idea and come back. This goes from not knowing the third responsibility of a defense, right? You have guard the net. First responsibility, make the early challenge. Or I guess third man responsibility, guard the net. Not the first priority, not the third in priority, but third man. First man priority. Let's First man priority is to make that initial challenge. Third man priority is to guard the net. Second man priority, this guy right in the middle, Jesse, his is to support on the outlet. Whenever the counterattack starts, he supports that counterattack. And he blocks off passing lanes. He takes this block of the field and says no. So when he comes out right here, instead of awkwardly backing out, he can easily take this rotation to back post. Now, it sounds like a plat strategy going to back post, but it's very, very simple when you know your responsibility while you're doing it. You are to block off passing lanes. So maybe you slow down a little bit. Maybe you point your nose up, see if Thrash is going to pass it. If yes, go for it. If no, continue your rotation. Get out of there. Do not confuse Guru coming out to replace you because now we're double positioned and double screwed. And this becomes doubly awkward. They do survive that C2. They do survive.
They do survive. Guru's got some quick fingers. He's able to get in the way.
Again,
E.
yep, we have a lack of positional, a lack of separate responsibilities. Everybody's in that first corner. Nobody's challenging early. That forces everybody to go for it at the same time. Now Tooney has to backwards. Now we're all in the confusion zone. Now we're just lost.
Yeah, it does go like this back and forth for I believe about like 3 or 4 minutes too. I mean, I think all three of their games went into a deep overtime, which just shows how close these guys were.
Very much so. They're both very good when they're good, but the mistakes that they're each making are equally detrimental. That's why it's going so much because neither one of them can take advantage of the other's mistakes because at the same time they're making their own mistakes. I mean, look at this right here. Jesse in with possession of the ball. Obvious play right here. Pass it mid to Guru. He's wide open. The lane's open, but Guru's driving backwards. He hit the reverse button. Any pass that Jesse could make is now moot. Now Jesse wants that boost, but guess what? So does Guru because he drove backwards and now he has to get it. It's the only place he can go, and everything is messed up. Jesse has to make a quick save right there. He's not able to finish somehow, some way. I say somehow, some way, but it's because of another double positioning error that RF White actually gets away with that counterattack, and Atlantis is not able to finish it. Unfortunato. That was good support right there. That quick handoff Guru stop Jesse take. Seeing that back. I love Thrash's aggression, but I hate this. Their second man is always positioned directly behind first man. Third man is supposed to be directly behind first man, not second. Second needs to get his butt towards the middle of the field, somewheres. He's got a big area to cover. He has a lot of choices to make over which one. Front right, front back, mid right, mid front, mid back, left front, left back. A lot of positions he could take. But far right far right of the field behind your ball carrier is not second man position. That's third man position. And this is why 3 times now this game we have seen this exact situation happen where they bring it down nicely, set up nicely. All 3 people on the defensive side, all of Atlantis has the net wide open, but there's nobody there to capitalize because the positioning is not focused on the win. Footless is there to take the loss. Retina needs to take the W. He's trying to do 2 things at the same time, take the loss and take the W. He ends up doing, but guessed it, neither.
I mean, it looks like a lot of these transitions are just due to bad field awareness. I mean, if they're actually able to tell him like, "Hey, I've got this. I need you center," or I mean, honestly, second man should be the one that's saying, "I'm center. Let me know if you need me. I'm here." And they're just kind of giving it away after that.
They very much are giving it away. I'm going to fast forward through a little bit of this overtime just for time constraints. So we got about 1 minute left in the game. This was a long overtime. They fought back against each other very hard. A lot of skill and a lot of whiffs coming in together to make this series extend like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say whiffs. I wasn't gonna be mean, but I said a lot of skill right as a double whiff happened. So it was like, it's your fault, Atlantis. I'm sorry.
Just got to give him the compliment sandwich. It always works.
Exactly. Right here, we see another double front post position with a nose pointed away from the ball. Tooney is very much in the wrong. Even though he does come out positive, he comes out positive because of a weird mechanic and a team bump that puts his momentum on track. Hmm. And again, positioning goes all into this. Too close to make anything happen. Jesse, I'm not sure what happened. Something that
Yeah,
just, there's no arguing that that should have been scored.
yeah, that definitely was way too close to have not gone in. And
And
just
then
like you
this
said,
goes in. All right, I'm gonna just point this out. Okay, so Guru doesn't score this. So- All right, we'll watch it from his POV. Guru doesn't score this. Good hustle back by Tooney. That was that must have been stressful. Great pass, but Guru scores this. Oh my God, the mechanic. And look, we watch all the mistakes, we watch all the ridiculousness happen. I point it out because I'm the coach, and that's my job to point out why you suck at Rocket League, why you're bad, you know? But these guys are in that GC area for a reason. The mechanics are there, the knowledge of the game is there. Just putting it together, having somebody to guide them in the ways of finding your identity, finding your team's identity, what you do, what you guys individually do best, and how to play on those strengths and weaknesses with each other, and having the right coach to guide you through that zone. Some of these guys obviously do not have the proper mentorship, and that's why these issues that are very fixable are so prevalent in their gameplay. But as we just saw, Guru, god dang, what a shot.
Great way to finish off that match, definitely. Well, guys, we are out of time now. I believe we've learned a couple themes from this. You know, we gotta let people know where we are and how we can help them, all at the same time as being positioned into a spot that is most beneficial to our
Hmm.
ball carriers. Is there any other theme you'd like to get across here before we get out of here?
I mean, oftentimes giving maybe you're struggling with the comms, try to give orders to your teammates. Don't bark them at them, don't be a douche about them, but a lot of times, if you are struggling with the proper comms and you think your comms suck, start telling your teammates what you want them to do in certain situations and be okay if they do or do not do that, or whatever the result is of that situation. They hear go, go, go enough times, they're going to start getting it in their head that in these specific situations, you're slowly training them to actually go and replace you. They'll start finding your flow, you'll start finding their flow, and eventually your team as a whole will start finding its flow. And if it doesn't fix things, then your communications weren't the issues. It is your team's identity has not been discovered. You don't know how to play with each other. Communications is always the first thing blamed when a team doesn't have an identity because they cut off each other and double commit a lot and they think, hey, if you call it, that wouldn't happen. That's false. It's going to happen regardless. Rocket League is too fast for communication to solve your issues. It's like putting tap water on a chemical burn, right? It might soothe a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's still a chemical burn, and tap water is not the right solution.
Fair enough. Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope that these breakdowns are helpful for your teams and are able to take what we've gone over here and apply these strategies to your own teams and players. If you would like a consultation from Coach Scully, you can inquire by sending him a direct message on Twitter at mpgcoach_Scully. And as always, you can view these matchups every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard on twitch.tv/Slips League Championship. And be sure to tune in to Unscripted every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. And for more information into the league, visit slips.io. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.